hosting the 11th annual Project Warm Up, and as you can see, we have over 400 volunteers here currently, and we are going through the fleece and making a lot of blankets. We've already boxed up 1,000 blankets to ship out to schools on Monday morning. Isn't that amazing?
So the first Project Warm Up was my junior year of high school. We had about, probably 20 people in a room in the boardroom at IPC. And we spent the whole day, it was like an 8-hour day, making blankets there with just a group of people from Lincoln High School and then a few people from IPC, my parents, of course. And so it was much smaller than it is now. The goal in the beginning was, I found out how many homeless children there were, and it really shocked me. I did not realize that there were homeless people in Sioux Falls, honestly, because you don't really see it around very often. So we found that out, and I started talking to Tracy and just kind of came up with the idea to do something to keep them warm. It's very, very cold here a lot of the year, so that's how it started.
We've received blankets from John Harris Elementary, Robert Frost, Rosa Parks, several schools, Cleveland Elementary, their student council handed up a party. Lincoln High School, Roosevelt delivered some this morning, and so the blankets have been coming in, and we've been just shipping them out as fast as we can.
There really wasn't. It was just a one-year thing, and then it turned out to be something that was well received. And so then the second year went, and it grew a little bit, and then just grew. I mean, it exploded a few years after, but it was something that in the beginning it grew, and then it probably doubled in size, and then just kept growing like that until we got to this. It really just turned into something much bigger than I think any of us ever expected. I think it's really great. I think it's, a very humbling experience, and these terrible things happen to people, and so even just being able to do something small that shows that we care is something that I think it's a great feeling, and I think most people that show up here do too.
We are here today because one of our LE4s, which is our senior officers and all that, planned to help with the school to help make the blankets. It shows great leadership to set up projects and to help volunteer.
The plan after today is for these blankets to go to each one of the schools. They've given us a list of students that they feel are in need of, for one reason or another, that they would like to distribute the blankets to. And so we're getting them boxed up today, and they'll be delivered on Monday to those schools for those students, hopefully in time for the holidays and the long break that we have ahead of us.
They come from all over. I think there's a lot of students here from schools. I think there's a lot of people that work in the district here. And then there's a lot of other volunteers. We always have people coming in that say they've just heard about it on the radio, on the news. So people are coming from all over. I think it's just something that everyone can really get involved in and feel like they've done something. And really, they are doing something to help. So
on Thursday morning, one of my kindergarten students walked in, and he had an envelope, and it had his name on the front of it. And he said that he wanted to give that money to buy a blanket for a child in need. So I told him, did you save up this money? And he said, no, my grandfather gave it to me. And he said that he wants me to go and do something nice for somebody else this Christmas season. And the only thing the grandpa wanted in return for a present for Christmas was the story of what his grandson had done with the money. That was pretty special to me. It was 12 crisp $1 bills, just enough to buy a blanket for a child out there. It was wonderful. We received an email from a parent who was looking for donations of fleece. Her sister had met a teacher who was teaching in Nightmute, Alaska. And all of the students in Nightmute are living in poverty. It's a remote village in northern Alaska. And so she asked if we could have donations of fleece for her. I messaged her and said, I'll give you the blankets if you can get them shipped to Nightmute. Well, when Delta Airlines heard of why these blankets needed to be shipped, they waived the $500 fee for that and shipped them up there. What we didn't know was that they were going to a village of a former Sioux Falls School District teacher, Bonnie Melbreck, and she has volunteered for the past 9 years with Project Warm Up. When she got the shipment at her school of 100 blankets, she emailed me immediately and said, "Are these Project Warm-Up blankets? Is that possible that they're in Night Mute, Alaska?" And they were. That just is just a sign of some pretty good karma. She's worked here for 9 years on Project Warm-Up, retires, moves to a remote village, and ends up getting blankets from Project Warm-Up for her kids in Alaska. Gail Swenson used to be the director of homeless ed for the Sioux Falls School District. So the very first year that we made these blankets, we gave them all over to her so that she could distribute to the students who were classified as homeless in the Sioux Falls School District. Well, a few years back, she became the superintendent of Tripp Delmont School District, not so far away from here. On Mother's Day in 2015, many of you may remember that a tornado took out the town of Delmont. Well, I got a text from Gail and she said, "Do you happen to have any blankets on hand?" And even though it was May, we'd had 100 blankets on hand. We were able to pack them up, drive over to Delmont, and give them to her students and staff who had lost everything just that morning to that horrible tornado. So Gail still comes back and volunteers every year at Project Warm-Up, but that's just a sign of how what goes around comes around in the most wonderful way. I think the youngest one we saw was about 18 months old, and she was carrying blankets. She was picking up squares of fleece and putting them in the box. And we've had some grandparents that are here making blankets as well. We have kids and adults from all over the area. The JROTC from 2 different high schools is here. Many student council and SALSA members are here from different schools as well. The student council from Oscar Howe Elementary is here as well. So there's just people from all over. It's just wonderful to see so many people from the surrounding areas. We've got people from Canton and Lenox and T and Harrisburg, just all joining together, making friends, new friends, and reacquainting themselves with old ones over making a blanket. We got contacted by Boy Scout Troop 171. They asked if they would be allowed to come and sharpen scissors. Now, any of the people who've made blankets here before know that we always run into dull scissors. Some of those scissors have been with us since the very first year, and they've cut a lot of fleece, and so they have been pretty dull. And this has just been a godsend for us, because what a wonderful, wonderful surprise to be contacted and asked if they can come and sharpen them. Yes, indeed. We are appreciating their services today. So that first year, our goal was just to get that 100 blankets done, and we did. And then we had a donation of 112 more come in. And when people started saying, "Hey, are you going to do that again?" How can you say no to that? But it's really grown and take a life of its own over the years. And it's such a wonderful thing. The stories from the emails from parents or teachers that come back to us are just absolutely amazing, and I don't know how we don't continue on with this. We have a little boy from the English Immersion program over at Jane Addams Elementary. When he received his blanket last year, he said, "Oh, good. Now we'll have 4 blankets at our house." And the teacher said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I took apart the blanket I got last year so that I could have a piece of fleece and my sister could. Now my mom and dad could." When that teacher contacted me, I said, "How many kids are in that family?" And the mom and dad, let's get everybody in that family a new blanket. And that's what we want through this, is just to make sure that we can get as many people wrapped up. You can see the people around here, you know, they're putting love and care and fun and good mojo into the blankets that they're making. And I just hope that some of that is carried through with the person who receives it and knows that when they're wrapping it up with this love and care that it was made with.